Hey guys, so today we're making some butter chicken. Please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's get started with the recipe. So we are gonna start by seasoning some chicken breasts. So I have two skinless, boneless chicken breasts here that I've cleaned and I patted them dry. And I am just seasoning them with some salt and some pepper. And if you're interested in these electric salt and pepper grinders, I will have that in the description box below. And then next I'm going to add in some red chili powder and some garam masala. And so I did find these Indian spices at my local Walmart, and the containers are pretty big. So if you're able to find these in smaller containers, go for it. But I plan to try to use as much as I can, so I'm gonna continue to make Indian food. And so next I'm gonna add in some garlic paste and some ginger paste. And then I'm going to mix all of this together and let it marinate for about 20 minutes. And so this video is inspired by another YouTuber, and I will list their video in the description box below. But that video got like 40 million views. And so I was like, okay, well, this recipe must be good, so let me try it. So next I am just going to dice up 4 tomatoes. And I did make this another time after this, and I used diced tomatoes. So I want to say that would be okay if, if diced tomatoes in the can is all you have. So next I'm just going to dice up some onions, and you can omit the onions if you want. And then I'm just going to dice up some fresh cilantro. And so now it is time to cook our chicken. So I have a large skillet on the stove that I've heated up, and I'm just adding in some avocado oil, and I'm going to brown my chicken on both sides. And so this butter chicken kind of reminded me of when I made that chicken tikka masala. Kind of similar process, but for the chicken tikka masala, I marinated the chicken in yogurt. And so I did see a few recipes that marinated this butter chicken in yogurt. So I'm not quite sure if you're supposed to or not. Correct me if I'm wrong. Leave me a comment and let me know how authentic this recipe is, guys. But the person that I watched, they were Indian, and they got 40 million views on that video. So, okay. But anyway, so I cooked my chicken in batches, and then I put it to the side. And so now we're going to saute the onions until they are nice and tender. And then I'm going to add in some butter, because this is butter chicken. And then we're going to start to, make our gravy. And so I'm using unsalted butter for this, but if you have salted butter, that will give it a nice flavor as well. But I want to be able to control the salt in this dish, because we are watching our health, guys. Speaking of health, y'all, I think I'm getting sick, so excuse me if my voice is a little more raspy than it usually is. But anyway, I'm going to add in those tomatoes and let those cook. And then I'm also going to add in some raw cashews. And so if you have a nut allergy, you can omit the cashews. But this is going to add a nice nutty flavor, and it's going to help to thicken up our sauce. Which is quite nice. And so next I'm going to add in some sugar, and I know you have to add the sugar, guys. It's going to help to balance out the flavor with those tomatoes that are acidic. Okay, do not skip this step. And so then I'm adding in some vinegar. And so the recipe called for malt vinegar, but I forgot to buy it at the store, so I just substituted it with some apple cider vinegar. And then I added a little more ginger paste and garlic paste. And then I am going to season this mixture with the same seasonings I did for the chicken. So salt, pepper, red chili powder, and the garam masala. And I'm just going to let this cook until it starts to soften up, because you want this to be nice and tender, or at least soft enough for you to blend it up. And so I am adding a little bit of water, and I'm just going to let this simmer until everything gets nice and tender, or, cooked enough to blend it. So after my sauce has simmered, I'm transferring mine to a bowl, because I'm going to use my immersion blender. And so this was a birthday gift. So I am trying it out for the first time as I make this recipe. And so you can do it directly in the pot, but I did not do that because my pot is non-stick and I did not want to ruin my pot. But do whatever you want to do in your household. And so I'm just blending this up. And if you don't have an immersion blender, you can put your mixture in a food processor or a blender and blend it until it is nice and smooth. And so I am going to run this through a mesh strainer just to make sure my sauce is smooth and, catch any clumps that might be left over, like the seeds from the tomatoes or just kind of chunks of cashews that didn't blend as well. And so this is the sauce, and we're just gonna add our chicken and some more butter because it is butter chicken. And so as I was making this, and I've never made this before, but I was like, man, this sauce is light. And so I guess I was judging it based off of the chicken tikka masala that I made, which the sauce was red. It was kind of red. And so I kept adding the red chili powder to this dish. Like, oh, it's not red enough. But it ended up making it a little spicy. And to my knowledge, butter chicken is not supposed to be as spicy as chicken tikka masala. It's supposed to be kind of a little sweet. And so the color that I have here is fine. I did not need to add as much of the red chili powder as I did, but it was still so delicious, guys. And so I added in my butter, and then I'm just going to season it to my taste. But make sure your chicken is done before you start tasting the food, okay? Because we don't need nobody getting sick. And so I'm just going to let this simmer until everything warms up, and then I'm gonna add in a few tablespoons of heavy cream, and then it's done, guys. And this is super easy, super delicious. Hey, this was, like I said, this was super easy to make. It was delicious. The spices were just right, and I ended up serving this with some basmati rice and some naan bread, y'all. And I made the naan bread from scratch, okay? Listen, I be hooking it up in this kitchen, okay? I never would have tried to make these dishes if I did not have this YouTube channel. But I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Please let me know if there are specific things that you want me to cook, and I will try to make that on the channel. And so I just garnished this with some fresh cilantro, and then I'm going to eat it with my rice and my naan, okay? And so again, I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.